All right, welcome everybody. Here we are at the podcast. We've been carrying on a bunch of foolishness for about 20 minutes now. So
That's how it goes.
here we are.
Yeah, you should really get a glimpse into the pre-podcast
Let's
conversation.
let's not do
This
that.
is why we don't live stream.
This
the
is
pod.
very true.
Maybe we'll do a live episode.
Oh no, that makes me nervous.
No, we're
Maybe
not
not.
doing that.
Maybe we
Ain't no
won't.
telling what this group would come up with. Yeah. Well, it's a good weekend.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Made it through another great week. Bunch of folks here and a lot of good things happening.
yeah, man. God's doing some cool stuff, doing some good stuff. Wrapping up this latest series.
Yep.
So I mean,
Formed.
it was a good time. Formed.
Yep.
I wrapped that up as we were looking at Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing in on that last one of being transformed.
Yeah.
And so you got us talking about and kind of shared with us a little bit about what it means to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And really, man, what a powerful conversation that really is to talk about, being able to address how we think and then really how we should be thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, there's a verse, as a man thinks, so is he. And how you think determines the course of your life in a whole lot of ways. Your heart does, of course, the Bible
Right.
says that, but how you think influences so much in your life, the way your mind works, the way you see the world, what you believe, what you don't believe.
I love the story that you got to start it off with as you were talking about, sometimes my mind just goes crazy. And you were talking about an experience that I would imagine that most people have a version of. Maybe not the exact same thing, but most married couples have some sort of version of this where, you make a decision and I don't even know if in the moment if you realize that you're making a really stupid decision, and it's like, nope, I'm down this path. I'm going down it anyways. And just, the idea that, cooking dinner for Alexa and she's not there at the time that, maybe you thought that she had said or she actually did say. I'm not diving into that part right there or anything along those lines. But just getting upset and, like, man, this is just not being the way that I thought it was going to go. And you sit here and eat this dinner and I'm going to go through the drive-through.
Yeah, you reach a point to where, in that particular instance, I guess most people listening probably heard me tell this story. In that particular instance, and I think most of us have been there, a switch just flipped in my brain, or I flipped at one and
Right.
just said, I'm going to be ticked off. I'm just going to be a jerk
Yeah.
about this.
Yep.
And you get mad, and it's almost like you decide, okay, here's where we're going. I'm going to be ticked. And then you get down the road of it, and your pride starts kicking in, and then yep, that's when you wind up going out to eat dinner at a drive-thru.
Go through the McDonald's drive-through or whatever
While she
it was.
eats the good food you just
That's
made.
exactly right.
Yeah, you do stupid stuff, and I've done it many a times.
And sometimes it's just the way our brains just, they go crazy, and our thinking process is probably not always the best that it needs to be.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
and it's just a really good example to talk about,
Yeah.
how our thought processes can take us down a path that we really don't want to go.
They really can, really fast.
Yep. You mentioned too, like you mentioned at the start before we got into the points that it's not. Sometimes people question, are we supposed to just be thinking about Jesus all day long? And you said that's not really what it is. It's
more important to think
it's
like.
to think like Jesus.
It is,
It's not
yeah.
that we're, every thought in our brains is, faith or apologetics in our brain. It's not all about that. It's just about shifting your thinking from being of the world or as opposed to being of God.
It's a couple things. I think it's a conscious awareness of God throughout the day, and an awareness of God's presence throughout the day, and conscious thought about, God, what are you doing in this situation? I think that's important when we walk into situations, rooms, restaurants, wherever it is, to kind of have that awareness of God and what he's up to in that, because Jesus did that. That is the way Jesus thought. You see it in his life. He was always monitoring what God was doing in the room and who needed something and all that kind of thing. So that was good. So I think it's that's an important thing. It's not just all day you're just contemplating theology all day long.
Yep,
It's
right.
that you're consciously aware of God's presence. And two, that you fill your mind with good things.
Yep.
Yep. It's not I use this terminology, social media can really become mental junk food. It's just filling your mind up with stuff that tastes good, but it's useless to your mind. And I've done it just like anybody else. The reels,
Yeah.
you go from watching a shark underwater to a guy who's restoring a 100-year-old pocket knife, to the latest political drama, to some guy falling off a swing. I mean, it's just crazy
Right.
what you go to, and it's all fun, and it's not necessarily inherently bad or evil, but it's just wasteful, it's empty. And so I think we have to make a conscious effort to fill our minds with good things.
Yeah. And it's so easy for us too to kind of find ourselves into a loop, whether it's watching reels on social media, but then we have this internal conversation that oftentimes, though, as we're thinking through our thoughts, that can turn negative. I think at one point in the message you were talking about, maybe been as you were wrapping it up, that it's very easy to kind of get into the framework of I stink, and I think that most of us kind of can find ourselves in a place at different times in our life where we struggle with that as well, that internal reel of just these negative thoughts and these negative comments about ourselves or a job that we did or something that didn't go the way that it needed to, and man, we've really got to get a handle on that and circle back around to making sure that we're thinking on good things and thinking on good thoughts, and you gave us some great steps on how to do that as well.
Yeah. What were those steps? I don't remember.
Well, if you don't, then we're in trouble.
No, I did say, you just, the I stink thing is so real for so many people. When you talk about it, you can start interpreting your life as here's where I failed again, and here's where I'm not doing good enough.
Right.
You can do that as a parent. You can, I'm sure we have plenty of people who are raising kids, and you see your kids struggle and wonder what you did wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. The truth is your kids are always going to struggle with stuff no matter how good a job you did. They're always going to they're going to have their battles in life just like you did, just like everybody else does. You can start interpreting life through the lens of how I've screwed this up one thing after another, or how I'm not good enough. That's a conversation. People have we all do, this whole internal world that only we live in, and that only we understand, that only we see. And those conversations are often about, man, I should have done this better. I should have done that better. And it's just a lie, I find one of the best things for me, and I don't do this often enough, but one of the best things I can do is start the day listing off and thinking about the things I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And what God has done for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I do that first and fill my mind up with thank you, God, for what this and this and that, it puts me in such a good frame of mind.
Yep.
I think it's important to start the day with some good thoughts.
Yep.
The one of the things that I appreciated about what you said this past weekend too was that you talked about being able to change your thinking is possible, but then you also said that it's a process.
It really is.
Man, I was actually reading something today that was just kind of reiterating this idea that, man, we live in such a fast-paced society, and everybody, we've said it before, that we're used to instant things. You can jump on your phone right now and click a few buttons and have food delivered to your house in 20 minutes. We like everything right now, and it's the same thing when it comes to change. And we talk about changing our thinking. We want it instantaneous right now. I want my thought process to change immediately. But you really laid out for us too that, hey, this is a process. This is obviously God can zap you and it changes automatically, but sometimes that's not the way that God works, and there's a process that we got to go through.
Never imagined when I was growing up the day would come when I could sit in a chair and with my thumb make a few moves and a cheeseburger will appear at my door.
There you go. What a
it's
world we live
magic.
in. What a world we live in.
Never imagined that. But we get so used to that.
Sure.
That we like instant, We like instant. And this is not instant. This has to cook.
Yep.
It's the difference between microwave food and crock pot food. Depends on what you like better. I don't like much out of a microwave myself.
Yeah, if you're picking it's pretty odd if you're going for the microwave.
Yeah.
If you got the option.
Analogy here.
If you got the option.
Yeah, do you want I don't like to do much of anything in a microwave. It just doesn't taste good to me. But man, you put something in a crock pot and let it cook all day long, it's going to be really good. And this is more of a process, the renewing of your mind, even in the language of the verse.
Yep.
It's an ongoing thing that's happening to you over time. Mm-hmm. Those things don't change quickly. Just like, if you you can go to the gym for a week and eat right, and I do that, and I expect that I'm going to lose 10 pounds from eating right one week, and all of a sudden become muscular. But you only see those changes over a length of time. It's consistency over time.
Mm-hmm.
I think about in scriptures like how many times the process of somebody's story takes way longer than we think. And it's hard to illustrate that through pages of the book. Like I think about Joseph. We remember the highlights of Joseph's life, but for how many years was it that he was in prison after being accused of
I don't know that it gives.
does it give us time or
I don't know that it gives us a
mean,
time. I'd have to go back and look.
I think it's implied that it's a long time.
Well, it was enough time to where the guy that
a guy got out.
The butler
forgot
got
about
out
him,
and
then
forgot
remembered
about him.
him.
It wasn't 6 weeks.
No, I mean I would imagine it would be a number of years.
It would make sense that it was.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's the way
I just don't know that it gives.
But
a
even
specific.
there are other stories too. But it's like how
There'll
many
be people watching, looking it up to try to figure out.
Yeah. Prove us wrong.
Go ahead and feel free to put some comments down in the comment section about how long that Joseph was in prison.
Yeah, but there's a lot. I mean, it's not just that. That's just one that came to mind. But of things that happen over such long periods of time, and we read about the highlight. Like for Joseph, we read about the highlights of his life. Where he's getting out of prison, becoming the leader of Egypt, or getting the chance to have revenge on his brothers, and he doesn't take it. But like probably for a large portion of his life, there was a lot of like bad things happening, things that were not preferable, and he was probably just wishing, can I just get out of this? And eventually, yes, he did. But the vast majority of the story is of struggle and of pain.
Let me give you a few that we do know the timing on. Abraham was over 100 years old when Isaac was finally born.
Yep.
Moses was 80 when his ministry to Egypt and the children of Israel in Egypt started. He's 80. He'd spent 80 years prepping for that. Paul spent like 14 years in the wilderness, the Apostle Paul, 14 years of prep. Jesus was 30 when he started his public ministry. He was crucified when he's 33. Only 1/10 of his life was spent in the public ministry that we read about.
Exactly.
I mean, it's incredible, but it paid off huge. In all those instances, the latter part of their life, the last section of their lives, were what they're remembered for. But the process that got them there. I was reading in a book recently. He said he was talking about the process of transforming your mind, and I've said you may not see the benefits of this till you're in your 60s. And I'm like, wow.
Yep.
That used to seem like a long time.
I was almost about to say, well,
clock's ticking.
Gonna see some benefits pretty soon.
It's ticking for all of us, brothers. Let me tell you, it's ticking for all of us. But it's a matter of, hey, who am I becoming? Who am I actually becoming? I read something the other day that said the best decade of your life is your 80s. I was like, really? I'm kind of conditioned to think that's your declining years when you can't do anything. But I think you live this thing right. 70s and 80s are going to be really good years.
But I still talk to so many like 20 and even like teenagers to upper 20s that are like, I'm not in the career field I want to be, or I thought I was going to be. And it's like, and that's painful, and I want everybody to get the job they want, but you got to realize too, like so much of this is a lifelong process of getting where you need to be, and you never know what God is doing in your life to prepare you for your next season. You could be in a position you not necessarily love, but that's going to reap a big harvest later for you.
The most important question is not how much money I'm making. It's what kind of person am I becoming? Am I actually becoming a better Christian, a better person in this process? And when you follow Jesus, you do become the person God created you to be. And it's a lot of fun, you're just discovering that for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I think in your 20s and 30s, you're just kind of discovering that and just uncovering it. Then you get kids and you're in the whirlwind of that for a long time, and then they get up and move out, and then you start really seeing a lot of things in a proper perspective, who God's made you to be. And as you get about my age, you stop caring so much about what people think too, which is a whole lot of fun.
And you just say anything.
You certainly can.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to turn the filters on a little harder.
That's right. You talked to us a little bit too about how we can change our thinking, and you gave us 3 words that really kind of embodied that for the weekend for us. Restart, redirect, and repeat. Right. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank goodness. So glad I remembered that.
Me too. Yeah. It's sometimes a restart is necessary just to get away and shut your mind down. A restart for me, we talked about how a computer restart.
Oh man, I love that.
So
I love that conversation
Yeah,
that you had with the tech guy.
Yeah, that was cool. Nash, our tech guy, comes in. Oh gosh, I guess we see him about once a month in here doing something tech for us, and we just ask him what a computer restart does, and he said it's incredible. He said it. He said himself, I didn't share this, but he said I see the parallels between human souls needing a restart and a computer, but it cleans up memories. Yeah. It restores background processes, and it deletes temporary files when you restart. Man, that's like a walk on the beach for me.
Sure.
Walk on the beach is my restart. And I just need to get to the shore once in a while and walk up and down the beach, and something restarts in my brain, or get out in the woods, or mowing the grass can be yours.
Yep.
Getting a good night's sleep is one. Going for a run, going to the gym, those are kind of minor restarts, but you need those. You need the redirect to when a thought comes in that's obviously not from God, and you have to learn that too.
Right.
Part of the renewing of your mind is learning that kind of thought, that didn't come from God. That fear, that shame, that condemnation, that didn't come from God. That came from the devil. So nope, I'm not doing that. I'm redirecting that to something good. It's recognizing the lies you believe. We're very, narrative people. We live in stories. Mm-hmm. Jesus taught in stories, and the stories we believe are the stories that just affect our lives. So we got to break those false narratives and stories we've told ourselves that just aren't true, and replace that with the truth. So yeah, redirect, and then repeat was the last one. You just do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Have you ever done something so much you don't have to think about it anymore?
Oh yeah. I thought your lock code was a good example, but I think about like my cell phone password.
Yeah, do you know it?
Well, no, that's what I was thinking. When you were talking about, that's what I jumped to, because like we've been in the car before, and Becca will want to like get on my phone to do something. What's your password? I'm like, I don't actually know it. I know the motion.
No kidding.
But the number slips me. So,
right.
And that's the same. You used like a lock pad example, which is the same thing. Yeah. Just repeating it.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. And you really notice a difference in your life too when you like take every thought captive, like what you're saying. Something I slip into easy is like somebody will say something that I didn't like or that I disagree with about something, and it's like the rest of the day I'll just carry that, and before you know it, I'm having all these like dialogues in my head that haven't actually happened.
Absolutely.
And you're getting upset at a person for essentially just disagreeing with you over something, which people are going to disagree with people on things. And I've had to pray a couple times, just like get these thoughts out of my head. Just don't. This person disagrees. That's fine. Just move on. And you notice I've noticed a big difference in that. Your whole day is turned around, because you can spend your whole week or day just thinking about an argument you're having with that person that's just made up.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just have to tell myself I'm not going to think about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just not gonna stay there.
I agree.
Somebody said once, you hear it said practice makes perfect. The truth is practice makes permanent. Mm. And if you practice wrongly, you'll do it wrong.
Yeah.
If you learn your golf swing the wrong way, which is terrible for me because I'm a terrible golfer. I gave it up because I'm stink at it so bad. But if you learn it the wrong way, you're stuck with it. It's really hard. A batter learning their swing, they've just got to learn to, and the more you do it consistently, the more you'll be able to do it. You know? So it's a repeat. So yeah,
very good.
It was a good weekend. We started a new one. We're going to start a new series this week on connections and our need to be connected, which is a real need for so many people in our day. So that'll be exciting. We'll see y'all next time.
Birthday coming up.
We do. Who's having a birthday?
You.
Yeah, I got a birthday coming up.
You're just going to buy the next episode, right?
Yeah, I'll be older next episode.
While somebody's on the platform, he may be older. I don't know.
No,
Is it on
no.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I forgot about
My
that.
birthday is Sunday. Yeah, it sure is.
So y'all make sure
I
y'all
knew
go
the
by,
date,
wish
but-
him a happy birthday on Sunday.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
my
true.
birth hour. My mom always remembered my birth hour, and it's like 6:50 in the evening. So I
Oh.
will not actually turn officially a year
Yeah.
older while
We'll-
I preach. But
Yeah, we'll bypass that.
Maybe somebody
We'll
will bring
be-
you a cake.
oh Lord, I don't need any more cake in my life right now. But yeah, that's happening.
Yep. Good stuff.
See y'all next time. Thanks so much.